Hi, again down to Glen here. Another interview here with Mr. James Foley. Spent all his youth, born and reared down here. James now actually does a bit of work lately with his own business, making stuff inside here in the shed. So James, I suppose what I'm really going to ask you about is as why you decided, I suppose, what you're at the moment, and maybe the history of what actually went on in that shed over the years, etc.
The shed behind me was built by my great-grandfather, John Jamesie. John would have been my grandmother, who was married to Joe Foley, her father. And he lived up in the main street, right? But he used the river, right, because he was a wheelwright. So at the very top of the river, right, or the Glen, I mean, he used to actually go down there to cool the bends after the heating process, so that they'd go on to the wheels, you know. And eventually he built a little shed here, right, and then he extended it, right. But it's like that now since about 1930, I think, late 20s, 1928, 29. And down through the years, then it's been used for different purposes, garages. But yeah, he was into the timber himself. All his family were lumberjacks and roofers, and I suppose that's where I kind of got the interest, you know, in the wood. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing right. But we all grew up around here since we were kids, right? And the river behind us was our playground, right? And right, 9 times out of 10 we came out of it cut and broken. Right, but we drove on. But yeah, it's a lovely place to live. It's quiet, and it's home to me, like, and it's home to all of us, I suppose. But anything else you want to ask me about the place, Matt?
I suppose, James, finally, I suppose I know everyone the lads touching it, but like, I suppose you grew up here as a child. Your own kids now, grandkids maybe, will grow up here. I mean, is there any massive change or in the community factor, or is it the same old vibe you'd always get down here, living here, in your opinion?
It's always kind of been the same families, you know. I mean, the Glen was a huge place one time, you know. There was like 70 houses back along here, you know. It actually went all the way up as far as St. Mary's School. And, right, but obviously over the years, the houses, they kind of vanished away, you know, right, because they all still are. Most of them are only made of mud and stone, so they're kind of hard to heat and they're a bit damp, but it's still home. Like, right, but Gerald Madigan is behind there. All his family were born here. Like, I was actually born here. I was born in the front room of my parents' house, like, and you know, Caddy Gemma now is in her grandmother's May's house. You would know that, of course. You're related, yeah. Or me all related. But yeah, other than that, you know, right, it's a lovely place to live, and I'd say it's only from my own way of thinking now. What I would think and suggest, right, because of the river, right, that this was the first settlement in Charleville, you know, right, because a river was life, you know, right. They had the water. It would take away the waste. Obviously, right, they wouldn't go back to the back of the Glen and throw in the waste and then get a bucket of water. So they had it worked out, you know, right. So this was more than likely where you know, people settled, you know, right, because it was so close to the river. So it could easily be the oldest part of Charleville. I couldn't be 100% sure about that, but it, you know, yeah, it is definitely up there. But yeah, like, you know, everything is the roads has definitely gotten better since we were kids. You know, it was only rocks and stones, and other than that, you know, I mean, there wasn't much changed except for, you know, all the same families, as I said, the Madigans, and, you know, everybody, and we just love the place, really, you know. But we should put a couple of gates above and lock the place up, stop people coming down. But yeah, I can't think of any other real stories now. I have a pile of stories, but I'd probably end up in jail.
James, thanks very much. Look, you've given us a great feeling of what it's like to live here, and Germany and Imelda have, and you know, you get the sense of community down here, even by just calling down here. And I, as you said, I know it myself, and it's always been a fan. We spent a lot of time down here as kids, and I think you've hit every nail on the head here, what it's like to live here and how the good people that live down here. So thanks, James. Thanks, everybody. Cheers.